The minister will be arriving very shortly, and he will first look at the exhibition, which is behind you. And the program will begin with the school song, in which everyone will have to remain standing.
मिनिस्टर साहब तकरीबन 2:45 पहुंचेंगे ਅਤੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਉਹ ਨੁਮਾਇਸ਼ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਣਗੇ। ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਕੂਲ ਦਾ ਗੀਤ 9 ਨਿਯਮ ਗਾਵਾਂਗੇ, ਜਿਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਅਸੀਂ ਖੜੇ ਰਹਾਂਗੇ ਅਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਇੰਤਜ਼ਾਰ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਧੰਨਵਾਦ।
Centrally located, the Singapore Khalsa Association offers an ideal location for all your functions. Be it a lavish reception, an intimate solemnization, a fun birthday bash, a corporate seminar, or a company dinner and dance. With aesthetically pleasing carpet flooring, graceful and stylish lighting, multiple projection systems, and delectable catering options, you and your guests are guaranteed to have an unforgettable experience. Singapore Khalsa Association. Amazing and highly affordable function rooms for your every occasion. Centrally located, the Singapore Khalsa Association offers an ideal location for all your functions. Be it a lavish reception, an intimate solemnization, a fun birthday bash, a corporate seminar, or a company dinner and dance. With aesthetically pleasing carpet flooring, graceful and stylish lighting, multiple projection systems, and delectable catering options, you and your guests are guaranteed to have an unforgettable experience. Singapore Khalsa Association. Amazing and highly affordable function rooms for your every occasion.
You are saying, right? Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, announcing the arrival of Mr. Lawrence Wong, Minister for Education and Second Minister for Finance. Please give a round of applause to the Minister.
ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਦੀ ਤਾੜੀਆਂ ਵਜਾ ਕੇ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ
Welcome Minister Wong to the Singapore Sikh Education Foundation's 30th year anniversary. It is indeed good fortune for the Punjabi community of Singapore that SSEF was established in the year 1990. And as a consequence, Punjabi children not only get a golden opportunity to learn their mother tongue, but also connect to their heritage and roots in a very meaningful manner. Over a very short span of time, Punjabi school has progressed so much that we even got approval to take this language as a second language. Under the guidance of leaders and experienced teachers, students are prospering day by day and are bringing glory to the community. And I can say for a fact that both of us are very, very proud to be part of this institution.
ਇੱਕਦਮ ਸਹੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਹੀ ਹੈ ਪ੍ਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਸਿੰਗਾਪੁਰ ਦੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਕੌਮ ਲਈ ਖੁਸ਼ਕਿਸਮਤੀ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇੱਥੇ ਸਨ 1990 ਵਿੱਚ ਸਿੰਗਾਪੁਰ ਸਿੱਖ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਸਥਾਪਨਾ ਹੋਈ ਤੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੀ ਮਾਂ ਬੋਲੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਨ ਆਪਣੇ ਸੱਭਿਆਚਾਰ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਨ ਅਤੇ ਆਪਣੀਆਂ ਜੜ੍ਹਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜਨ ਦਾ ਸੁਨਹਿਰਾ ਅਵਸਰ ਮਿਲ ਗਿਆ ਇਹ ਅਤਕਥਨੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕਿਹਾ ਜਾਏ ਕਿ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਸਕੂਲ ਨੇ ਕੁਝ ਹੀ ਸਮੇਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੰਨੀ ਤਰੱਕੀ ਕਰ ਲਈ ਕਿ ਸਿੰਗਾਪੁਰ ਦੇ ਵਿਦਿਅਕ ਮਹਿਕਮੇ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਦੂਜੀ ਭਾਸ਼ਾ ਦੇ ਤੌਰ 'ਤੇ ਮਨਜ਼ੂਰੀ ਦੇ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਮਾਹਰ ਆਗੂਆਂ ਅਤੇ ਅਨੁਭਵੀ ਅਧਿਆਪਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਨਿਗਰਾਨੀ ਹੇਠ ਅੱਜ ਬੱਚੇ ਵੱਧ ਫੁੱਲ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ ਅਤੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਕੌਮ ਦਾ ਨਾਂ ਰੋਸ਼ਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ
First, we will be presenting our school song called Non-Niyam, which directly translates to 9 values. Please do remain standing during this.
वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह नानक नाम चढ़ती कला तेरे पानी सरबत दा भला नानक नाम चढ़ती कला तेरे पानी सरबत दा भला नाम तेरा जपिए सदा तेरा कतरा तेरा नशका नाम तेरा जपिए सदा तेरा कतरा तेरा नशका सेवा कर तेरा नाम तेरा ये काम क्रोध ते मोद हटाए सेवा कर तेरा नाम तेरा ये काम क्रोध ते लोभ हटाए मोदी माया उतार गगन परदीशाय सदा नहीं रहने मोदी माया उतार गगन परदीशाय सदा नहीं रहने नाम तेरा जपिए सदा तेरा कतरा तेरा नशका नाम तेरा जपिए सदा तेरा कतरा तेरा नशका सभी ने माँ करना बुलाइए सच्चा जीवन शान बनाइए सच्ची में माँ करना बुलाइए सच्चा जीवन शान बनाइए मीठा ਬਣਾਈਏ ਮਿੱਠਾ ਬੋਲਣਾ ਨਿਯਮ ਮਨਾਈਏ ਮਨ ਦੀ ਨਾਮਤ ਉੱਚੀ ਬਣਾਈਏ ਨਾਮ ਤੇਰਾ ਜਪੀਏ ਸਦਾ ਕਿਰਤ ਰਾ ਤੇ ਵੰਡ ਛਕਾ ਨਾਮ ਤੇਰਾ ਜਪੀਏ ਸਦਾ ਕਿਰਤ ਰਾ ਤੇ ਵੰਡ ਛਕਾ ਨਾਮ ਚਲਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਤੇਰੇ ਬਾਣੀ ਸਰਬਤ ਦਾ ਭਲਾ ਨਾਨਕ ਨਾਮ ਚਲਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਤੇਰੇ ਬਾਣੀ ਸਰਬਤ ਦਾ ਭਲਾ ਨਾਮ ਤੇਰਾ ਜਪੀਏ ਸਦਾ ਤੇਰਾ ਕਤਰਾ ਤੇ ਵੰਦ ਛਕਾ ਨਾਮ ਤੇਰਾ ਜਪੀਏ ਸਦਾ ਤੇਰਾ ਕਤਰਾ ਤੇ ਵੰਦ ਛਕਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
Very much. You may be seated.
ਇਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਦਾ ਗੀਤ 9 ਨਿਯਮ ਸਾਡੇ 9 ਗੁਣਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦਰਸਾਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਜੋ ਸਾਰੇ ਵਿਦਿਆਰਥੀਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਣੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਹਨ।
So in the next segment, we will be presenting to you a short script entitled Golden Memories, which showcases memories and the journey of SSEF over the past 30 years.
ਹੁਣ ਪੇਸ਼ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਸਕਿਟ ਸੁਨਹਿਰੀ ਯਾਦਾਂ ਜੋ SSEF ਦੇ 30 ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਸਫ਼ਰ ਨੂੰ ਦਰਸਾਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ।
ਬੱਚੋ ਇੱਥੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੱਭ ਕੇ ਥੱਕ ਗਿਆ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਮੈਂ ਕੀ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ ਆਈ ਹਾਂ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਤੋਂ ਦੱਸੋ ਬੜੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਖੁਸ਼ਖਬਰੀ ਹੈ SSEF अपनी 30th एनिवर्सरी मना रहे हैं। सच्ची 30th टाइम का पता ही नहीं लगा टाइम कितने साल लंघे ने इन्नियां सुनहरी यादां जुड़ियां ने पंजाबी स्कूल नाल किन्नियां सुनहरी वाहिगुरू होर तरक्की दे वाहिगुरू पंजाबी स्कूल नूं होर तरक्की बख्शी।
मम्मी तुसी इन्ने एक्साइटेड क्यों हो रहे हो?
एक्साइटेड मैं ते उड़ीक रही हां कदों मैं तेरा विआह करा ते तेरे बच्चों नूं पंजाबी स्कूल च दाखल करावा सोच के देख किन्नियां रौनकां लग जाणगियां फिर घर विच कदी असीं मुहावरी गावांगे कदी असीं भंगड़ा पावांगे कदी माइशां लावांगे कदी विसाखी मनावांगे।
Actually, Mummy ji, I really miss Punjabi school. Thanks to Punjabi school, I have so many Punjabi school friends.
देखिए
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮੇਰੇ ਬਚਪਨ ਬਾਰੇ ਦੱਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਸਕੂਲ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ-ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਸੀ।
खुशी खुशी तू तो कहना सी why Saturday cannot come every day why I must wait 7 days to go Punjabi school तू ते भैन जी नाल रुस जांदा हुंदा सी ते भैन जी दा फोन आना तो उन्होंने मैनू गल दसनी ते मैनू समझ ना आनी मैं हसा के तैनू झिड़का मासी गली मासी गली मासी गली मासी गली मासी गली किन्ने खुशकिस्मत हाँ सिंगापुर वर्गे देश विच जिथे पंजाबियां दी गिनती कुछ कुछ हजार है पंजाबी नूं मां बोली दा दर्जा प्राप्त कोई छोटी मोटी गल नहीं है सचमुच जी सरकार साथ देवे ते काबिल ते नेक आगू होण ते की कुछ नहीं हो सकता। पंजाबी स्कूल ने हेरिटेज टूर तक ऑर्गेनाइज किए कॉन्फ्रेंसां ऑर्गेनाइज कीतियां ਯਾਦ ਹੈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਪੋਰਟਸ ਡੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਇਨਾਮ ਜਿੱਤੇ ਨੇ ਹੈ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਈ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੰਨੇ ਇਨਾਮ ਜਿੱਤੇ ਨੁਮਾਇਸ਼ਾਂ ਲਾਈਆਂ ਯਾਦ ਹੈ ਫੂਡ ਫੇਅਰ ਯਾਦ ਹੈ ਫੂਡ ਫੇਅਰ ਖਾਣੇ ਬਣਾਏ ਵੇਚੇ ਯਾਦ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਕੁਇਜ਼ ਡਿਬੇਟ ਕੁਆਇਰ ਹਰ ਚੀਜ਼ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਲਿਆ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਸਕੂਲ ਨੇ ਵਿਰਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੋੜ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਕਲਚਰ ਨਾਲ ਜੋੜਿਆ ਤੁਹਾਡੀਆਂ ਜੜ੍ਹਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਜੋੜ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਤੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਸਕੂਲ ਦਾ ਦੇਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇ ਸਕਦੀ ਸੱਚੀ
Mummy ji, even Gidda I learned in Punjabi school.
ਹਾਂ ਗਿੱਧਾ ਯਾਰ ਪੀਲਾ ਸੂਟ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਤੇ ਫੁਲਕਾਰੀ ਦਾ ਦੁਪੱਟਾ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਨੱਚਦੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ ਯਾਦ ਹੈ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਬਸ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਹੀ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਣ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਬੋਲੀਆਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਹੀ ਦੇ ਦਿਓ ਇੰਨੀ ਸੋਹਣੀ ਲੱਗਦੀ ਸੀ ਮੇਰੀ ਧੀ ਰਾਣੀ ਹੈਲੋ ਬੱਬਲੀ ਹਾਂ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਕੀ ਹਾਲ ਚਾਲ ਮੈਂ ਫੋਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਖੁਸ਼ਖਬਰੀ ਸੁਣਾਵਾਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਸਕੂਲ 3ਵੀਂ ਵਰ੍ਹੇਗੰਢ ਮਨਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਅੱਛਾ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਅੱਛਾ ਘਰ ਘਰ ਹੀ ਚਰਚਾ ਹੈ ਓਹੋ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਸਕੂਲ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਧੁੰਮਾਂ ਪਾ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ ਸਾਰੇ ਦੇਸਾਂ ਪ੍ਰਦੇਸਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੱਚੀ ਹੈ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਤੂੰ ਆਈਟੀ मतलब कंप्यूटर अच्छा टीचर हूँ कंप्यूटर पढ़ांदियां ने हाय मैं मर जावा कदों तो है प्रोजेक्ट अच्छा आजकल पंजाबी स्कूल प्रोजेक्ट भी होंदे ने स्क्रैप बुकां भी गूगल स्लाइड हाय मैं तो बड़ा डरदी हूं गूगल तो है जो गूगल स्लाइड ना जो भला होवे इन्हां दा कमाल की हुई पंजाबी स्कूल ने कि किताबां भी लिख दिया ने अनमोल भावना हाय मैनू भी दई एक कॉपी मैं भी पढ़ांगी सच्ची होर दस कुछ केड़ा मैप करिकुलम मैप वो की हुंदा है अच्छा वो ही फॉलो करके पढ़ांदियां ने पंजाबी स्कूल ते अंग्रेजी स्कूल तो भी अगे लंघ गए है अरे रब्बा सच्ची मुच्ची सच्ची अरे कमाल कितनी हुई पंजाबी स्कूल ने अरे मेरे तो पैर नहीं जमीन ते लगदे मेरा तो दिल करदा उठ के भंगड़ा पावा
टोर जगीरो दा ओ टोर जगीरो दा टोर जगीरो दा ओ टोर जगीरो दा बहुता फिरे तमाल हो लोकी रखदे ने हो लोकी रखदे ने बड़ी हैरानी नाल ओ टोर जगीरो दा ओ टोर जगीरो दा
Thank you very much. This video definitely brings back a lot of memories that I have made over the past 11 years in my education here at SSEF, and I'm really going to miss this institution a lot. This is my last year, so I'm very glad that this video has been made.
Oh, I agree with you, Prabpreet. It is my second last year, so I have similar feelings. ਪਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਸੋਚਦਾ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਸਕੂਲ ਬਾਰੇ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਯਾਦ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਸੋਚਦਾ ਸੀ ਯਾਰ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਫਸ ਗਏ ਹਰ ਹਫਤੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਉਣਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਪਰ ਹੌਲੀ ਹੌਲੀ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਗੁਜ਼ਰਿਆ ਕਲਾਸਾਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਸਿੱਖਣ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਹੋਰ ਐਕਟੀਵਿਟੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਅਹਿਸਾਸ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਖੁਸ਼ਕਿਸਮਤ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਸਿੰਗਾਪੁਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਨ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਇਹ ਸੱਚੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਿਰਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੋੜ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ
It is now my great honor to invite on stage SSEF Chairperson, Madam Gurdial Kaur, to give us her welcome address.
Thank you, Prabpreet and Meher. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Good afternoon, Minister, sir, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our local and overseas viewers who are following this event via Facebook Live. First and foremost, on behalf of the Singapore Sikh Education Foundation's Management Council and Management Committee, I would like to extend a warm welcome, sincere thanks, and heartfelt appreciation to Mr. Lawrence Wong, Minister for Education, Second Minister for Finance, for accepting our humble invitation to be the guest of honor at SSEF's 30th anniversary celebrations. Despite the Saturday afternoon and his busy schedule, we are deeply touched by his generosity and willingness to be with us. I would also like to welcome our guests, Chairman Sikh Advisory Board, Mr. Malminderjit Singh, Advisor, Mr. Inderjit Singh, Chairman BITSEL, Mr. Amanjit Singh, CEO BITSEL, Ms. Rani, principals of schools, heads of gurdwaras, Sikh institutions, long service awardees, generous donors, pioneers, well-wishers, and friends. Thank you all for your presence this afternoon, and not forgetting all the parents, students, stakeholders, staff who are watching this event presently live. A 30-year celebration for the SSEF, indeed a landmark achievement. The SSEF is a unique institution. It is in existence due to the bilingual education policy of Singapore and more pertinent to the Singapore government's willingness to accept in October 1989 the Punjabi language as one of the official mother tongue languages. Since its launch in December 1990, the core business of the SSEF has been to prepare Punjabi students for landmark examinations at PSLE, GCE-N, GCE-O, and A levels. In this regard, it has performed remarkably well. The SSEF's success has been due to the widespread support it has garnered from the Sikh community in Singapore. All gurdwaras and Sikh institutions supported the government's effort to permit the community to organize the language program, and this support has not ceased to this day. Due to their high standing from the beginning until now, the SSEF has always been helmed by professional educationists from mainstream schools. The fact that the founding chairman, Mr. Bhajan Singh, and his leadership team were school principals, vice principals, and heads of department from the Ministry of Education mainstream schools meant that they were qualified to administer the SSEF and the program of Punjabi language as a mother tongue language within the ambit of the MOE. These professionals knew what was required at the key landmark examinations, understood the curriculum well, were cognizant of the broad educational reforms taking place in the country, often at a fast pace. This includes the changes to streaming, to banding, to project work. They knew exactly the various components of the key examinations. They were skilled in the recruitment of teachers, preparation of relevant instructional materials, motivating both the teachers and students to perform in the landmark examinations, as well as managing parents' expectations. The SSEF leaders were able to connect with the key officials at the MOE and later with the staff at Board for the Teaching and Testing of South Asian Languages, which today is MOE's key agency to administer all the NTILs in Singapore. The experienced and qualified SSEF leaders, especially at the school level, were adept in dealing with the academic demands from all stakeholders. What has placed the SSEF as a unique institution in Singapore is the fact that it is something that resonates with every Sikh family. As someone would have a child in the SSEF at one time or another, regardless of which temple you come from, which part of Singapore you stay, whatever your socio-economic status is, all would have undertaken a rite of passage through the SSEF to study Punjabi as a mother tongue language in preparation for the landmark examinations with MOE. In other words, for the last 30 years, almost every child in a Sikh home would have donned the iconic yellow and blue SSEF school uniform. This has had an immense unifying and socializing impact on the Sikhs in Singapore. Due to the importance of the mother tongue language in our educational system, there is a special effort for everyone to ensure that the SSEF's programs are effective and successful, and that at the end of the day, every child who registers with the SSEF succeeds. This also explains the immense whole of community social capital and spirit that the SSEF have garnered from the community, and why Singapore Sikhs have developed an innate interest in not just supporting the SSEF, but also to make sure that it is delivering its core business. Put simply, the SSEF is a professional institution that is at the heart of the community when it comes to its mother tongue language, and where it simply cannot afford to fail. In the Sikh tradition of Chardi Kala, of always achieving excellence, this is a tall but noble order. The SSEF, with the support of the community and key institutions, has always stood up in times of crisis. The latest was COVID-19 in early 2020 and the introduction of home-based learning, which came sooner than expected. There was not much time to adapt, adjust, and roll on online lessons and learning packages. Due to the professional leadership that helmed the SSEF and the experience in mainstream schools, when called upon to undertake home-based learning, the SSEF lived up to expectations. In the new paradigm, the teachers were transformed into IT specialists with tremendous peer support, without compromising its teaching and learning in the new environment. For many, their children and spouses were extremely supportive in assisting them in the delivery mode. The classes continued online with great support from community leaders, parents, and students themselves. The whole experience was one of crisis management. We used SSEF's Learning Management System portal and Google Meet for the HBL, and we had meetings via Zoom. Despite the many challenges, effective teaching and learning was never compromised. This was brilliantly undertaken from the preschool to A-level classes. We are deeply grateful to the Sikh Welfare Council for their generous support in providing us with a laptop for every teacher. We have moved on seamlessly, incorporating blended learning into our curriculum. During that period, there were some students who needed laptops, and we are very grateful to Cinda for coming forth and assisting the group of students. As we gaze over the horizon, due to the multiracial, multi-religious and multicultural architecture in Singapore, and especially bilingualism as the cornerstone of the national education system, the future of Punjabi language is bright. It cannot be otherwise. The Punjabi language has made Singapore Sikhs a valued member of the Singapore nation and a valued stakeholder, and this is not found in too many places in the world. Wherever the Sikh diaspora is found, they are defined by loyalty, hard work, and integrity. And in this, the education of the child is given an extremely high premium. This is very much true in Singapore, explaining how within a generation you can see the upward mobility of Sikh children. In this, the Punjabi language has been a positive sum game in the overall academic performance of Sikh children in Singapore. Minister Sir, respected community leaders, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is my utmost honor and pleasure to share that the 30th anniversary celebrations of SSEF has indeed been a whole of community endeavor. The Sikhs have abiding sense and culture of giving, which is found in our Guru's concept of Vandake Shakna, sharing. In this regard, we were granted, when we wrote into Tote Board, the letter of award for a $1 grant, and we have a grant of maximum 250,000. So if we raise 250,000, we will be given $1 for $1. I'm proud to share that we have reached the target of 250,000. In the last few days, there was a sprint to help the SSEF financially, and I'm also elated to announce that by Guruji's grace, we have crossed 350,000. Apologies. The financial success would not have been possible without the strong support of the Gurdwaras, the Sikh institutions in Singapore. My heartfelt appreciation also goes to the selfless donors, some of whom preferred to remain anonymous. They were the first to come forth to our call for help despite the difficult times of the COVID pandemic. Every small amount added to the final sum, which helped us reach our target and beyond. All-round public support has been forthcoming due to the good governance, transparency, and accountability that characterizes the SSEF all these years. Additionally, we would like to place on record our heartfelt thanks to Lee Foundation, Shaw Foundation, and the latest return came in evening yesterday from Cinda for their generous grants to SSEF's ICT teaching and learning for online and offline resources. I will end with a brief word of thanks. First, to Minister Wong for his willingness to grace today's event, and the Ministry of Education for giving us our mother tongue language. Second, to the leaders of the Sikh community who have never failed us and always viewed the Punjabi language program as being existential to the future of Sikhs in Singapore. Third, the tireless efforts of our Punjabi school and kindergarten leadership team, teaching and non-teaching staff must never be taken for granted. And we are grateful to these dedicated and passionate individuals who have spent weekends after weekends to inspire the students under their charge. A good example is the increasing enrollment in SSEF's kindergarten, which has increased from 71 students in 2017 to today 107 students, ranging from nursery 2 to kindergarten 2. Fourth, there have always been donors who are prepared to come forward, including some, as I mentioned earlier, who prefer to remain anonymous, to assist us financially, and this has gone a long way in ensuring the success of the program. Fifth, we owe a debt of gratitude to the pioneers who had the wisdom and foresight to work closely with the government to ensure that the Punjabi language program took off, and the keystone role played by our former Prime Minister, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew. Sixth, my special thanks goes to BITSEL, Board for Teaching and Testing of South Asian Languages, which has always supported us in our journey. Vitally important, the MOE schools that have hosted us all these years. We are presently hosted at Whitley Secondary School, and previously we were also hosted at different mainstream schools. The PSG has also been, the parent support group, has also been a great source of support since its inception. And we deeply appreciate their selfless contributions and their invaluable support. All teachers helped us in one way or another for setting up the exhibition today, working behind the scene. Khalsa printers, which stood by us in the past and presently in the publication of our commemorative effort. Seventh, with more than 30 years with the SSEF, many individuals stood by me, whether I was a center principal at Badot or the vice chair, nurtured very well under the leadership of late Santok Singh when he handed the chairmanship to me. So through my journey from being a center principal to vice chair to where I am today, I salute the community. This is a super testimony to the community and its leaders. They were forward-looking and did not discriminate anyone based on gender, but respected the merit and professionalism of the leader. To them, I will always be eternally grateful. For today's event, be it collecting materials for the 30th anniversary commemorative publication and getting the Sikh institutions and the communities to support us financially, special thanks goes to the Takral and Brahmpura families, the founding chairman, Mr. Bajan Singh, pioneers among, there are many, but these stood by from the day it was go. Mr. Balbir Singh Mangat, Colonel Daljit Singh Ji. I also want to thank Mr. Luvinder Pal Singh, fondly called Pali, Mr. Sarabjit Singh, who has selflessly worked behind the scenes for today's event, Sri Guru Singh Sabha for loaning all the boards for today's exhibition and looking into all logistical details selflessly. SSEF's Management Committee, SSEF's Organizing Committee, and definitely Mr. Harnik Singh. Thank you very much for SKA allowing us to use the premises today. Thank you for your patience, and I'm confident that you will have an enjoyable and memorable afternoon ahead. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. It is now my pleasure and honor to invite Minister Lawrence Wong to address us. Minister, sir.
Madam Gurdeep Kaur, Chairperson of the Singapore Sikh Education Foundation, Mr. Malminderjit Singh, Chairman of the Sikh Advisory Board, our former Member of Parliament, Mr. Inderjit Singh, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Thank you for having me at this 30th anniversary of the Singapore Sikh Education Foundation, or SSEF. Let me start by extending my heartiest congratulations to everyone involved in the SSEF and the entire Sikh community in Singapore on this very important milestone. In fact, the SSEF marked its 30th anniversary in December last year. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, you had to postpone your celebrations. But I'm very thankful that we can still gather today to mark this momentous occasion. SSEF crosses this milestone in unprecedented times. The pandemic has had a devastating impact on countries everywhere in the world, and that impact is still continuing today. We see countries experiencing third or fourth waves of infection, and countries everywhere still subject to lockdowns, and some even imposing new restrictions. It reminds me of something that a renowned physician used to say. Sir William Osler is sometimes regarded as the father of modern medicine. And he said late in the 19th century that humanity has but three great enemies: fever, famine, and war. And amongst the three of them, the greatest and most terrible enemy is the fever. More than a century later, despite all the marvels of modern medicine, I think that saying still rings true today. As we see in the pandemic, perhaps we don't quite experience it to the full extent, but if you are living in America, you would know that more people have perished from COVID-19 than everyone combined in World War I, World War II, and the Vietnam War. So it's no surprise that the fever or the plague or the pandemic is truly the greatest enemy of humanity. In Singapore, I think we are fortunate that we have been able to keep the infection under control. But every time I go to an event or I meet people, I keep reminding everyone, we must never be complacent. And we must never assume that we have seen the end of the pandemic and that the victory is in sight, or that we can relax and start letting our guards down. In fact, the situation is so unpredictable that you never know. We are just one infection away from yet another outbreak or another major cluster emerging. That's how tenuous the situation remains for all of us, even in Singapore. So whatever you do in the coming weeks and months, please comply with all the safe distancing measures. And for those who are medically eligible, please go and get yourselves vaccinated. If you haven't already, register on the website. And after a few days of registration, you will get an SMS to go book a slot for vaccination. We just need to remember that it was about this time last year, right? It was precisely around early April last year that we had to push the button and impose a circuit breaker right here in Singapore. And it was a very difficult sacrifice for all of us to make, to impose such drastic restrictions on our way of life and on our lifestyles in order to bring the infection under control. That marked a change in the trajectory. After the circuit breaker, we were able to bring the infection down, and since then, there's been some ups and downs, but generally, I think we have made good progress. So let us not waste the sacrifices that all of us have made over this difficult period by relaxing too early and letting our guard down too quickly. Let us stay alert and vigilant and see through this very difficult pandemic. Despite these challenges all around us, I'm confident that the Sikh community will continue to stay cohesive and resilient, and you will rise to the challenges that we all face. The resilience that you have shown was evident from the beginnings of the SSEF. As you heard just now, back in 1990, it was your founding chairman, Mr. Bhajan Singh, and a team of educators and professionals who saw a need for Sikh students to learn Punjabi. They mobilized resources, set up classes, and registered students in various centers around Singapore. And throughout the last 3 decades, the SSEF has dedicated itself to the teaching and learning of the Punjabi language. You support our bilingual policy by nurturing generations of effectively bilingual Sikhs. And learning Punjabi itself is more than just a means of communication for the community. As with all languages, it is an important way to connect with your rich history and culture, and to preserve this important heritage in our diverse, multiracial society. And that's why the government is more than happy to partner with you and to support the teaching and learning of the Punjabi language amongst the community. The SSEF itself is also very dedicated in going the extra mile to meet the needs of its learners. You not only implement the curriculum developed by the Board for the Teaching and Testing of South Asian Languages, BITSAL, you also develop your own materials, and I saw them just now in the exhibition. You have your own enrichment and learning materials developed in-house to supplement those that are developed by the Board. And besides passing on the knowledge to the next generation, I'm very heartened to see how the SSEF has helped to instill in our young the spirit of serving others. For example, around 100 students from the SSEF, together with volunteers from the Young Sikh Association and others, came together to spend time with families under the care of the Marine Parade Family Service Centre in 2019. Last year, not much could be done because of COVID-19, but hopefully, as restrictions ease, we can see more students doing their part to serve the community. These examples are all a powerful testimony of how the Sikh community in Singapore, while small in numbers, has truly distinguished itself. You have demonstrated tremendous adaptability and resilience, and over the years you have continued to strengthen your spirit of solidarity and your unity and your distinct sense of identity. At the same time, all of you appreciate and understand the need for mutual support and serving the community. As Madam Kaur said just now, there is in the Sikh community a very strong, abiding culture of giving. And indeed, you have grown your links with other Singaporeans and contributed to our society at large in many different ways. In particular, the SSEF's focus on serving its community has come to the fore during this COVID period, and especially during the circuit breaker last year. And I applaud everyone in the SSEF for your efforts in ensuring that learning was not disrupted. SSEF educators had to adapt very quickly and pivoted to home-based learning. We sometimes think that, it's so easy, teaching in the classroom and teaching at home, what's the difference? It's a huge difference. It's not just conducting a lesson on Zoom. You have to adapt the curriculum, you have to master new technologies, and we are very grateful that the SSEF educators rose to the occasion and were able to make these changes very quickly, ensuring that learning was not disrupted at all. You were supported by volunteers from the community who helped them to make the transition to teaching online more seamless. So once again, a very big thank you goes out to the leaders, the educators, and volunteers of the SSEF. Thank you very much. It's also very inspiring to hear how some of the SSEF staff have embodied the spirit of service and resilience. One example is Madame Gurdial Kaur herself. She was part of the team in 1990. She was a center principal, a vice chair, and now chairperson of the SSEF, leading the organization. Two other ladies will be receiving the Long Service Award today, and they too have inspiring stories of service. Madam Gurmit Kaur has served as center principal of the Clementi Weekend Center for 27 years and has had more than 450 students studying in the center with 20 educators under her charge. She has served as a vice chair of SSEF for 6 years, and her leadership has helped to steer the organization through challenging times, including this pandemic. Madam Manjit Kaur has also a long history with the SSEF, joining as an educator in 1990 and staying on for 30 years now. I'm told that she is a skillful educator who inspires her students and readily lends them a listening ear. Respected by students and colleagues alike, she also develops resources for teaching and learning and helps to mentor and guide her colleagues in their craft. It's interesting, we all have 3 female examples here. So, women power in the Sikh community. The Long Service Award that they will receive is a testament to their hard work and dedication through the years. And I'm sure this anniversary will be particularly meaningful to them as they look back on their contributions to the community. So to conclude, the SSEF has indeed many, many achievements to be proud of in its 30-year history. It's an organization driven by committed leaders and staff who have placed education at the heart of its mission. And I'm sure the SSEF, with the support of the Sikh community in Singapore, will continue to grow and have a tremendous impact on the teaching and learning of the Punjabi language here in Singapore. So once again, congratulations to the SSEF and everyone in the Singapore Sikh community on this important milestone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister, for your inspiring speech, and the Minister will now be presenting the various awards. First of all, we have Madam Gurdial Kaur for the 30 Years Long Service Award.
Next, we have Madam Gurmeet Kaur for the 30 Years Long Service Award.
Next, we have Madam Gurmeet Kaur for her 30 Years Long Service Award.
Next, we have Madam Harpal Kaur.
Next, we have Madam Jatinder Beer Kaur.
Next, we have Madam Manjeet Kaur.
Next, we have Madam Prakash Kaur.
Last but not least, we have Madam Varjeet Kaur.
Next, we'll be presenting our tokens of appreciation to the donors. First of all, we have the Central Sikh Gurdwara Board.
Next, we have Justice Didar Singh, who is in absentia.
Next, we have Dr. Bilveer Singh. Next, we have Gurdwara Sahib Yishun.
Next, we have Mr. Inderjeet Singh.
Next, we have Kartar Singh Thakral, who's being represented by his son, Mr. Ricky Thakral.
Next, we have the Khalsa Dharmak Sabha.
Next, we have Nachattar Singh, who is being represented by his wife, Madam Harneet Kaur.
Next, we have Mr. Naranjan Singh Brahmpura, who is being represented by his son, Mr. Harjinder Singh Brahmpura.
Next, we have the Pardesi Khalsa Tarmak Diwan.
Next, we have Mr. Sarjeet Singh Gill, who is being represented by his wife, Madam Sukhbir Kaur.
Next, we have the Sikh Welfare Council.
Next, we have Mr. Simranjit Singh, whose birthday is also today. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Next, we have the Singapore Khalsa Association.
Next, we have the Sri Guru Nanak Satsang Sabha.
And last but definitely not least, Sri Guru Singh Sabha.
Next, we'll be giving tokens of appreciations to our trustees. So first, we have Mr. Deep Singh.
Next, we have Mr. Inderjeet Singh.
Next, we have Mr. Kartar Singh Thakral, who is being represented by his son, Mr. Rikhi Thakral.
Next, we have Naranjan Singh Brahmpura.
Next, we have Dr. Surinder Singh.
Next, we have Mr. Pajan Singh, who was the chairperson from 1990 to 2013.
Next, we have the late Mr. Santokh Singh, who is being represented by his wife, Madam Sukhdevi Kaur.
Next, we have Madam Gurdial Kaur, who is the chairperson from 2015.
Next, we'll be giving tokens of appreciation to the SSEF principals and deputy. First, we have Mrs. Inderjeet Kaur, principal for SSEF Kindergarten.
Next, we have Mr. Jasbir Singh, who's the principal for SSEF Punjabi School.
Last but not least, we have Mrs. Baljeet Kaur, the Deputy Principal for SSEF Punjabi School.
Lastly, we'd like to present our gratitude to the mainstream school principal who's been facilitating our learning, Mrs. Anba Saroja of Whitley Secondary School. I'd like to invite Madam Gurdial Kaur to present Minister Wong with a special token of appreciation for gracing today's occasion. The token is a pakhi. The token is a pakhi, which is an ethnic Punjabi name for a handheld fan. In the olden times when there was no electricity in Punjab, it was used to keep oneself cool, and it has become a precious artifact in many Punjabi households.
ਪੁਰਾਣੇ ਜ਼ਮਾਨੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਦੋਂ ਬਿਜਲੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਪੱਖੀ ਵਰਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਸੀ ਇੱਕ ਪੱਖੀ ਖਾਸ ਫੁਲਕਾਰੀ ਨਾਲ ਬਣਾਈ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਜੋ ਇਸ ਦੀ ਸੁੰਦਰਤਾ ਨੂੰ ਵਧਾਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ
We are also presenting to Mr. Wong a book published by the SSEF in commemoration of this day. And all of you in the audience will also be getting a copy.
Thank you so much, Minister Wong, for gracing us on the stage.
Thank you.
ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਦੇਖਾਂਗੇ ਉਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਆਰਾਮ ਨਾਲ ਬੈਠੋ ਅਤੇ ਇਸ ਦਾ ਆਨੰਦ ਮਾਣੋ
We will now be presenting to you yet another video, so please do enjoy.
Without Punjabi, without understanding Gurumukhi, you cannot tap on the spring source of your faith, the Guru Granth Sahib. When I met Mr. Lee Kuan Yew in 2nd of November 1990, I raised that if the government can, like Malay, Chinese, Tamil, have an examination at PSLE. And Mr. Lee, being Mr. Lee, he assured me that he has activated the process of the Ministry of Education so that Punjabi can be available at PSLE. And it came about in 1995.
As you know, in 1990, the government opened up more opportunities for the Indian mother tongues for students in Singapore. And so I took up Punjabi, and there were two gentlemen who I remember very distinctly who spent a lot of time on a few of us, I think there were 10 to 15 of us, who were going to take the O-level examinations in Punjabi. Master Harbans Singh, who later on became the president of the Interreligious Organization in Singapore, and Master Surjan Singh basically taught us. I don't think there is a sufficient way to thank them for their seva and for their efforts, because it certainly saved my life.
The mother tongue language forms the foundation of any society or community, and therefore we treat SSEF as one of the most important organizations. And we are very fortunate that in Singapore that the government recognizes Punjabi as one of the mother tongues, and through the SSEF we have been able to create this opportunity for every one of our children to learn Punjabi.
SSEF has evolved over time, and today we do have a very comprehensive and structured framework supported with highly effective instructional programs ranging from nursery to A-levels.
तेरा नाम क्या? मेरा नाम है कुशा. He asked me what is my name and I answered him that my name is Kusha. So this is what we said in Punjabi.
ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਸਕੂਲ ਆਉਣ ਦਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਚੰਗਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ. ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਉਣਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਮਜ਼ੇਦਾਰ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਬੜਾ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਇੰਜੋਏ ਕਰਦੀ ਹਾਂ. ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਕਦੀ ਜ਼ਿਗਜ਼ੋ ਪਜ਼ਲ ਜਾਂ ਆਈਟੀ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਈਟੀ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਲੇਖ ਰਚਨਾ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਵਾਉਂਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਬੱਚੇ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਜੋਏ ਕਰਨ. ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਗਰੁੱਪਸ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਮੁਕਾਬਲਾ ਰੱਖ ਕੇ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਟੌਪਿਕ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੁਕਾਬਲਾ ਕਰਾਈਦਾ. ਮੁੰਡੇ ਤੇ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਗਰੁੱਪਸ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਉਹ ਬੱਚੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਇੰਜੋਏ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਇਹੀ ਉਮਰ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਕੇ ਕੁਝ ਨਾ ਕੁਝ ਬਣ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ, ਕੁਝ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ.
English is a little harder to learn than Punjabi because after a full stop you don't have to care about the capitalization. It's because all the letters are the same and then you don't need to care about capitalization unlike in English.
Punjabi is like one of our 4 H1 subjects in JC. We have to take that along with 3 other H1s as well as 3 other H2s. It can be a little bit difficult to manage our time sometimes, as well as with CCA on weekends, but it is our second language and we usually do it quite well.
I used to have this student in my class. She loves to hug. Her good morning, swere, sat shri akal naal has to be with a hug. That's like, you go to the school, you ekdam tusi pump up feel karte ho kyunki there's somebody who wants to hug you.
ਜਦੋਂ ਮੇਰੀ ਕਲਾਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੱਚੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਆਦੇਸ਼ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮੇਰੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ-ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਮੇਰੀ ਕਲਾਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਣ ਤੇ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ-ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਮੇਰੀ ਕਲਾਸ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਜਾਣ.
One of the thrills of running a Punjabi school is the teachers' willingness. They are always up for challenges. So when it came to, let's say, HBL, it took us by surprise. And when our teachers didn't have computers at home, and they somehow innovated. They came out with videos on their own, and these were actually sent to our kids through our learning portal. Within 2 days, our home-based learning lessons were up and running for the students. That's the beauty of the Punjabi school teachers. They are willing to try, and it is up to us, the management team, to see how we can frame our teaching and learning such that we are always on par with the mainstream schools.
Moving forward, I will also want students to be able to not only recognize that Punjabi is their mother tongue, but also be able to take it on into the community. And what a better place is when they come to SSEF Punjabi School, they should be able to communicate with one another in Punjabi and go back home and also communicate in Punjabi.
It's really something that you use to interact with family members, with friends, and it creates a sort of a vibrant community which you can feel like a sense of belonging to.
From the basics to today, our teachers are competent and able to adapt to the changes in the educational landscape. Talking about the core business, Punjabi language, SSEF remains the only officially sanctioned organization providing Punjabi language as a mother tongue in line with the bilingual policy in Singapore.
In terms of Gurdwaras and Sikh institutions, SSEF is fortunate to have a collaborative partnership in the areas of learning journeys, community involvement program, and financial assistance support. Now, through the learning journeys, our kindergarten students have learned early in life about the Sikh values of Kirta Karni, Vansh Rakna, and Naam Japna. In collaboration with YSA, through the community involvement program, our secondary students had the opportunity to work in homes, clean homes, and this has provided them with a real-life experience about the values of caring for others. With CINDA, among others, one of the key programs that they have supported us is in the area of literacy and numeracy. The literacy and numeracy program has actually enabled our younger children to be better prepared as they enter the mainstream schools in primary 1. SIVAC has been a great supporter for SSEF. Not only have they supported us in the area of providing financial assistance to the needy students, they also fund our academic excellence program. Finally, I would like to thank MOE for providing us with a grant that has enabled us to enhance our teaching and learning resources.
Since P1, P2, P3 and P4, all my teachers loved me a lot and I really liked my experience in Punjabi school.
Just the fact that I've made so many good friends here, I think is very memorable for me, because these are friends that you'll definitely see along the way even after you graduate, because of like how small our community is, and you guys will just remember each other and have a lot of fun. Yeah.
Heartiest congratulations to all our brothers and sisters at Singapore Sikh Education Foundation. They have been instrumental in ensuring that our children, they know their culture, they know where they originate from. And this pivotal role they play is something each and every one of us need to congratulate SSEF for doing it. Thank you, SSEF, for the wonderful job you've been doing. And to all our brothers and sisters at SSEF, thank you so much. Sat Sri Akal.
Happy anniversary, SSEF.
Happy anniversary, SSEF.
Happy anniversary, SSEF.
Happy anniversary, SSEF.
ਸਭ ਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧਾਈ।
Happy anniversary, SSEF.
ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਖ ਲੱਖ ਵਧਾਈਆਂ ਹੋਣ।
We can say happy anniversary in the Punjabi accent if you want. Happy anniversary, SSEF.
Happy anniversary, SSEF.
Happy anniversary, SSEF.
So for those of you who are over here, refreshments will be served to you directly to your tables shortly. And
ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਹੈ। ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉਮੀਦ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਪਸੰਦ ਆਇਆ। ਹੁਣ ਚਾਹ ਪਾਣੀ ਦਾ ਥੋੜਾ ਇੰਤਜ਼ਾਮ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਸ ਆਰਾਮ ਨਾਲ ਬੈਠੇ ਰਹੋ ਅਤੇ ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਮੇਜ਼ਾਂ 'ਤੇ ਪਰੋਸਿਆ ਜਾਵੇਗਾ। Those of you online, we would like to thank you for being part of this event, and we really appreciate your support, and we hope you enjoyed the program today. Thank you.